What would you do if you knew you only had 1 day, or 1 week, or 1 month to live?
I'm afraid it's not great news. We've picked up cancerous cells in your blood, your liver, and your lymph nodes. We need to get you into treatment right away.
How bad is it?
It's stage 4.
How many stages are there?
4.
Here are the first 3 unfiltered thoughts that went through Ben's head. He was calling off the wedding. Relief because he could use this excuse to get out of marking 6 classes worth of English exams. How many people would come to his funeral? The 4th thought he voiced aloud.
Are you sure there hasn't been some kind of mistake? I feel fine.
We're sure.
So what are you saying here?
You have an extremely aggressive form of cancer. You need aggressive treatment.
What are my chances? Like on a scale of 1 to 10.
The survival rate is about 10%.
I'm gonna die?
When dealing with individuals, we throw the odds out. In some cases, a complete recovery isn't unheard of.
And if the treatments don't work, then how long do I have?
Couple of years.
At minimum. So what's the minimum?
There isn't one.
You all right, son?
Yeah, I'm okay, thanks.
You ride?
No, not for a couple of years.
Didn't expect to ever be selling it. My eyes are going. I couldn't get my license renewed. You never really believe that you'll have old bones. I tell you, it's a blink from diapers to depends. Take her for a ride?
No thanks, I'm not really in the market for a bike.
Yeah, of course you aren't.
One might conclude that the opportunity to buy a motorcycle so soon after hearing Ben's cataclysmic news might be divine intervention. That would be erroneous. In fact, Ben had been circling around the purchase for a while. But before we proceed further, a bit of backstory. Benjamin Gerald Tyler was born on January 14th, 1979 in Toronto, Canada. Temperature was an unseasonably Arctic -19 degrees Celsius. It had been 12 years since the Leafs had last won the Stanley Cup. So, what were Ben's life-changing moments?
What I want to see out there today is some hustle. Keep your eye on the ball. Tyler! Maybe if you stop sticking your finger up your nose every 2 minutes, you might actually catch the ball.
Never again would Ben be caught picking his nose in public, and never again would he be caught daydreaming. The two acts seemed to go hand in hand, or finger in nose, if you will. The second seismic event. Ben's parents had brainwashed him into believing he had the voice of an angel. However, the dream died during auditions for the school production of HMS Pinafore.
He is an Englishman. Oh, enough! Stop before you make my ears bleed. That was dreadful.
Ben never sang in public again. However, Mrs. Bell's disparaging remarks were intended as an act of revenge. The third event, Ben's first novel, a thinly veiled autobiography, failed to find a publishing home. He had created an orphan. How different things might have been for Ben had his nose-picking and daydreaming been able to continue, had he believed praise when he heard it, and had he decided against all hope to send his manuscript to HarperCollins, for they had recently hired a young editor who was on the prowl for just the type of literary offering that Ben had produced.
5 minutes left, everybody.
Ben taught the same books that he had been taught, that his father had been taught, that in all likelihood Shakespeare's father had been taught. It wouldn't be entirely untrue to suggest that the teaching profession wasn't Ben's passion, though on rare occasions he did still swing for the fences.
Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which, in the old days, moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
Ben was set to marry Samantha Pierce. The wedding was planned for 3 months from now.
Hey, is that yours?
I was beginning to think he was never going to ask me.
We all were, dear. We all were.
You did the right thing. I'm proud of you.
I know what you're thinking. Ben settled for a career and now is going to settle for a wife. But before you go too far with that theory, you should know 5 things Ben adores about Samantha. Her left hip bone. Not that there's anything wrong with the right, but the left is perfection. Playlists. Samantha became the de facto DJ to the soundtrack of Ben's life. Her parents, Mary Jo and Tom, are the nicest people anyone could ever meet. Her underrated ability to provide obscure but yet surprisingly pertinent quotations that always revealed a larger truth. Samantha became a golf fan just because she knew Ben loved the sport. His fiancée developed an interest even in tape-delayed senior events from the Asian tour. If that's not love, what is? Though Samantha wasn't the demanding sort, she was adamant about one thing. She hated motorcycles. As an actuary, driving a motorcycle represented the height of stupidity.
So?
I'll take it.
I'm not surprised. The price is non-negotiable.
Okay.
Oh, hell, I'll give it to you for 7.
You really don't have to.
No, I insist. What are you planning on writing?
I don't know yet.
Upon hearing the news of his cancer, Ben's plan had been to go home and tell Samantha about his prognosis and hopefully make desperate love to her. All night long. first, he needed a coffee. Because he still had a trace of dreamer left in him, Ben always rolled up the rim to see if he won. Ben decided to wait until after his father's birthday party to break the news to Samantha. She wouldn't be able to hide the secret.
I'd like to make a toast.
Oh, God. Can you just send us an email?
So, I just want to say, no. I want to admit that despite my growing decrepitude, I've never been happier. I have somehow pulled off a very lucky life. And I would like to make a toast to my family. Thank you all.
Cheers.
Cheers, Dad. We're not canceling the wedding. I mean, not after all the work you put into it. Unless you want to.
No, I don't care about the wedding. I care about the insanity of you going on vacation. The longer you put off getting treatment, the worse the odds get.
I'm not going on vacation. The second I step into a hospital, they're gonna napalm me with drugs so powerful, it's gonna feel like I'm getting glass shards shoved down my throat every time I swallow. Before I become a patient, I need to do this.
You need to do what, exactly?
I need to have an adventure.
If this was me, I would be signing up for every treatment on the planet. I would drink goat piss if I thought that would make a difference.
I know you would, Sam, but it's only for 2 days. And when I get back, I'm into treatment, 100%, I promise.
It's incomprehensible to me that you would wait.
But it's not incomprehensible to me. I just need...
What?
Come with me. Just come with me.
No, I would be too angry at you the whole time. What about your family?
Tell my family when I get back.
Ben insisted that the wedding would go ahead as planned. Was able to leave work 12 minutes earlier than usual. In a burst of power walking prowess, she just managed to catch the 5:45 train. Had Gail not been quite as strident, she would have been one of the 13 casualties on the 6:10 train that derailed just outside of Etobicoke.
Stars stayed out till morning.
Ben factoid. Without irony, he loved these homages to the world's biggest. Part of the pleasure was inventing entire backstories about how these creations came into being.
And I say what our town needs is something to put it on the map. Something with big-time wow factor. The world's largest photo mosaic.
And the sun dies until it's reborn. But there's no road that ain't a hard road to travel on. Got lost on the way, but you found.
Man in Britain, John Brandrett actually, who was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and was given a year to live. He spent everything he had only to find out that there was a misdiagnosis and he would be fine. What if Ben was misdiagnosed? Samantha was right. He was swimming in that famous river in Egypt. He would go home.
Hey, buddy. You know if there's a Canadian Tire in Perry Sound?
No, sorry, no idea.
We'll lose a bet if we have to walk to Sudbury.
So important about finding Canadian Tire here.
Our buddy Gord, we bet him a box of beer each that we could ride from Newfoundland to Vancouver in under 6 weeks and spend less than $400. So every time we have a breakdown, which happens more often than you would think, we simply ride to the nearest store and place one bike for another.
Come on, there's no way that you're riding these all the way out west.
Well, why not?
Well, you don't have any of the proper equipment.
Aside from the bloody headwind, hasn't been a problem so far.
Well, look, can I give one of you guys a ride across town? We can go check.
Sorry, can't accept rides from anyone. We'll lose the bet. It's rule number 6. Again, shit-faced when we agreed to that one. See you later.
Well, best of luck.
In comparison to the sheer lunacy of cycling into a headwind across the country for a case of beer, Ben recommitted to heading west.
Hi.
Are you pregnant? I mean, are we pregnant?
No, of course not.
Well, why did you write the note about our kids?
Because I was pulling at heartstrings. I was throwing up a Hail Mary pass that the thought of your unborn children might get you home sooner.
But you're definitely not pregnant.
No. No, and if I was, trust me, I wouldn't tell you in code.
What should we do? We should keep looking for grumps. So they searched all day, but could not find any signs of grumps.
Ben's father, a rather persuasive storyteller, had his son utterly convinced in the existence of grumps, a mythical creature so elusive that to actually see one would bring untold good fortune. At what point in his childhood did reason trump imagination and Ben conclude that the world was grumpless? Ben had an overwhelming urge to embrace randomness and resume the quest for grumps.
I must have lied. 20 miles behind. Maybe it was fate. Maybe I just changed my mind.
I need to know if you have any objections to a church wedding.
Oh, no, of course not.
And is there anything you'd like to incorporate in the wedding?
No.
Can I ask you a question, Ben? Do you have any beliefs?
How can you not believe in anything? We had the kids discussion, we had the financial discussion. How could we not have had the religious discussion?
You can't honestly be that upset about this, can you?
I'm marrying a nihilist.
For Samantha's sake, Ben tried very hard to listen for God. However, he could never seem to tune into the proper divine frequency.
Hi.
Look, When you said that you couldn't believe you were marrying a nihilist, were you being facetious?
No, but I'm okay with it. Just tell me you're coming home.
That's a pretty major compromise, isn't it?
No, it's a minor compromise.
I've resigned myself to the fact that we don't see eye to eye on faith. Where are you?
Are there any other things you think you compromised on?
Yes, that's part of being in a relationship.
Well, like what? Just, an example.
Why are we even talking about this? I was able to reschedule your appointments for Monday.
Well, I'm just a little worried that maybe one of the things that you've compromised on is actually one of the things I like most about myself.
There's nothing major. Honest.
That's great. Maybe just a minor example then.
Okay. I wish you didn't have foot odor.
I don't have foot odor.
This is a ridiculous conversation. Forget about it.
It is ridiculous because you're telling me that my feet stink when my feet do not stink.
Well, maybe you have an olfactory problem as well. I never mentioned it before because I knew that you would be sensitive about it.
Because it doesn't exist.
Trust me, they reek.
Oh, you can pay for those at the front.
Actually, I need to ask you a favor.
Sure.
Can you tell me if my shoe stinks?
Excuse me?
Look, I know that sounds absurd, but it's really, really important to me. Feel free to be brutally honest.
Well, in my professional opinion, they're fine.
Ben wondered about the larger implications of Samantha's hostility to his alleged foot fault. The more important consideration, why didn't Samantha ask him what he didn't like about her?
Hey, you're Norton?
Yeah.
Where are you headed?
West.
Anywhere west in particular?
Not yet.
So you've got direction, but not destination.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
You know, marijuana's been medically approved for cancer patients.
What are you, some kind of psychic?
No.
Then why did you bring up cancer?
I had an ass load full of it once.
So you got the treatment?
Actually, it went away on its own.
Seriously?
I'm just shitting you, man. I got treatment.
But of course, he never stopped dreaming of getting back on the road and touching the Pacific.
All I can say is that if there's any way I can get out there again and finish it, I will.
Dreamed I was dying, as I so often do. And when I awoke, I was sure it was true. I ran to the window, threw my head to the sky, and said, whoever is up there, please don't let me die. But I can't live forever. I can't always be. One day I'll be sad.
Hello?
What you doing?
I'm trying on my sister's wedding dress.
What happened to the one you had made?
I've decided to revisit that decision.
Again?
Yes, again.
Does it grab your boobs funny?
Yeah?
Did you ever think that maybe it's the boobs and not the dresses?
You come home. Please?
I'm not ready yet, Sam.
There was a tropical storm out my window. The cats were asleep and alive, but she still loves me. Someone once told me the future is history, and the past is still happening, and the present's a mystery. But I didn't believe them, 'cause I don't believe anything, whether I read it or see it on TV. Everything is far away, and I'm in my head all day, and nothing is bothering me. Nothing is bothering me.
Hey! Oh,
What are you doing?
Well, I came into the rink to get out of the heat, and
What?
Well, I thought I was having heat stroke. I mean, I didn't think it was the real Stanley Cup. That is the real Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah, of course it is.
Well, what's it doing here?
Derek Vincent Day in Arbor, Manitoba, because Anaheim won the Cup.
Expository fact. Each member of the Stanley Cup champions assumes possession of the cup for 24 hours. Derek was on hour 7.
You're Derek Vincent?
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Thanks.
So where's the guy from the commercial? You know, the guy with the white gloves, guards it with his life?
Oh, well, actually, I got a couple of my buddies to distract him, so I could have a couple of moments alone with the cup, you know? Never got to hoist her, eh? Left the game midway through the third with a concussion, so.
Oh, yeah, I remember that fight.
Everybody remembers that fight except me.
I guess you want me to leave, huh?
No.
True fact. Doctors had diagnosed Cheryl Riley as infertile. One night, Mike Ricci of the Colorado Avalanche brought the cup to a party. Cheryl kissed it, and 9 months later, Stanley was born.
You want to kiss the cup? Supposed to bring good luck.
Yeah.
Perhaps it was the champagne, but a small part of Ben felt that the ghosts of all the players who had ever kissed the cup might just be able to body check his cancer into oblivion.
I saw a beaver, I saw a goose, riding the railroad with a 2-4 of moose. I got together with Gord and with Stan. We sunk the snowmobile, we thought we were on land. Oh, I'm from Canada, oh, that's my home. Oh, Canada, oh, that's my home. Oh, Canada.
Then again, perhaps his karma was irreparably screwed. Wasn't the hockey stick and the Stanley Cup enough for one day? Why did Ben still insist on taking a dubious detour to the world's largest prairie camel?
Start to it! Not here. Not now. Oh, come on! Oh, please, 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 please. Don't do this to me right now. Don't do this to me. Damn it! Why? Why won't you start?
Calendar, window seat, and I'm just reading about why Phil missed the cut. Please call me.
If Ben's lifetime could be coffee and newspapers with Samantha, existence would be bliss.
I don't know how to thank you. Most people wouldn't have called, you realize. Would have just kept on going.
Oh, it was nothing, really. I am sorry about your dog.
You know, the thing is, Rudy slept in my bed longer than 2 husbands. Combined. Oh. Oh. That's the first time I've cried in 10 years. Well, it looks like you got some dirty gas.
Is that serious?
No? I'll just clean it out, won't take me long. I never expected to end up twice divorced and only see my son once a year if I'm lucky.
Does he live with his dad?
He just turned 20. Besides, his father went AWOL long before that.
Come on, you do not have a 20-year-old son.
Yeah. And a granddaughter who just turned 4. Who I've only seen once. My son works in Fort McMurray. The money's too good to keep him down here.
Why don't you leave? Do something else.
I'm too in debt. And if the weather and the markets don't go to shit, I might break even on my loan payments at the end of the harvest. I'd feel like an idiot if every farmer around here wasn't in the same boat.
Does it make you bitter?
That's the thing, no. The dirt has a way of itching your pores. Though if I could get laid every now and again, I might feel a lot happier. No offense, but I like my men XXL. Besides, when I make my move, it usually involves a few wine coolers and a complete lack of subtlety. Come on, let's go for a horse ride.
You know, actually, I've never ridden a horse.
Well, obviously, you've never lived.
Never felt so good, never thought I ever would again. Now you're alright. Look what I can see, everything you used to be is back. And now you're alright.
And then I come out here and I think, where else would I really want to go?
Looking out over the hills, wondering if in a former life he hadn't been a cowboy, Part of Ben wished Fran wasn't so rigid about the size requirements of her men. He also wished he had a case of wine coolers. Ben's trip rekindled Fran's wanderlust. That weekend, instead of fixing fences, Fran paid a surprise visit to her son in Fort McMurray. Unfortunately, Brad was on a double shift. The upshot? While killing time, Fran finally met the love of her life.
Excuse me. Can you tell me where Dawson Street is? The world's largest teepee was a major disappointment. Ben couldn't say why. He actually expected more from the world's largest dinosaur. It was a 3 out of 10, maybe 3.5.
As most of you are probably already aware, Dinosaur Provincial Park is home to the largest collection of dinosaur bones in the world, only rivaled by China's Gobi Desert. Makes you feel sort of insignificant, doesn't it? Knowing that the most powerful species on the planet has been completely wiped out, reduced to a pile of bones.
One might conclude, roaming somewhere among the bones of these ancient beasts, Grumps was sure to be hiding. Instead, Ben wondered if, like their prehistoric friends, Grumps was extinct. True story. In 1997, Gina Lalopola, an Italian stripper, suffocated to death while waiting to jump out of a cake. The point is, we're all on borrowed time. 1 minute you're trying to find a decent song on the radio, the next. What's the minimum in life? And so, inexplicably happy to be alive, Ben tried to recreate one of those movie moments, the kind where the hero dances uninhibitedly, finally able to symbolically throw off the shackles of convention through the transformative power of a pop song. Ben, however, couldn't pull off the feat. He felt like an idiot trying to be that guy. Moreover, he couldn't dance. 6 hours of relentless cold, and Ben decided that he'd had enough of the allure of the open road and a lack of itinerary. Not saving for retirement had its advantages.
Mom and Dad are freaking out. We're all freaking out. Get back to Toronto and deal with this.
Ben, it's your mother. I need to hear your voice. I love you so, so much.
Hey, son. Now, look, we can handle this. I called Dr. Morgan, and he's able to get you into the top cancer specialist in Sunnybrook. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Could you give your mother a call, please?
Let's go out, we'll take no prisoners. Lonely love, gotta leave it behind. We look like $1 million. Every time they look at us, we'll blow their mind. Let's get wrecked on Rolling Rock and stroll down to the sea. I'll come to my senses there, and then you'll come to me. Let's forget about all our friends and family. Let's forget about all our lovers' enemies. Let's go out when the sun goes down. Let's wrestle this city to the ground. We'll go out, we'll take no prisoners. Lonely love, we'll leave it behind. We look like $1 million. Every time they look at us, we'll blow their mind. Every time they look at us, we'll blow their mind. Every time they look at us, we'll blow their mind. Thank you very much.
I'll meet you anywhere.
You promised not to tell anyone.
I know. And you promised you were going to be back in 2 days. Are you coming home?
Not yet.
Then I'll go to you.
You will?
Yeah. Where are you?
Banff.
I'll book a flight tomorrow. Bye.
Ben knew that with someone else along for the ride, looking for Grumps would seem idiotic. Within 2 hours of escaping the presidential suite, he was lost. If he got to the Pacific Ocean and ran out of West, what would he do?
Oh my God! Jesus! Oh, good boy! Good boy! Oh, good boy!
Mick, down! Down! I'm so sorry. I didn't expect to see anybody up here.
It's okay. You just caught me off guard. That's all.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm feeling a little lightheaded.
You want some water or something?
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Do you know the song?
That was a supreme understatement. Ben's mother had sung Un Canadien errant, a French-Canadian folk song, to him every night growing up. The words were embedded in his DNA. Of all the songs Tracy could pick, that she chose this one had to mean something.
All right. The ground rules of the campfire sing-along clearly state that everyone has to participate.
Honestly, you don't want me to sing.
Really, I insist. Si tu vois mon pays, mon pays malheureux. Si tu vois mon pays.
Ben had never taken a complete inventory of things he found unappealing about Samantha. She was a routine girl. Everything had to be done in a certain order. Deviating from this caused sleeplessness and general irritability. In spite of Ben's efforts, Samantha steadfastly refused to quantify movies, books, and behavior of members of his family on the 1 to 10 scale. A major disappointment to Ben, as this had been the filter through which he classified many parts of his life. Ben regretted how their sex life had lost some of its earlier carnal urgency.
Do you mind if we wait till tomorrow?
And finally, most annoying of all, Samantha's jaw clicked when she ate. Ben was certain that as the years went by, he would cease to even notice it.
You have a fantastic voice.
That's nice of you to say, but I've long since given up on the hope that I could sing.
Well, I have perfect pitch, and you can definitely sing.
That was dreadful!
My fourth grade teacher lied to me.
What are you talking about?
It's not important.
So what's your second book about?
I didn't write a second novel.
Any ideas, or?
Oh no. No, rejection pretty much killed my creativity.
You know, my grandfather used to quote Thomas Edison to me ad nauseum when I was a kid. His favorite line? Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up.
Okay, but there's perseverance, and then there's just delusion.
Well, I guess somebody's got to fill the world's delusional quotient.
would you do if you had 1 week to live?
Maybe just doing what I'm doing right now. My mind's not on tomorrow or yesterday or even 3 hours from now. It's just here. What would you do?
I'd make love to you.
Why?
I'm just searching for moments.
Samantha had managed to book a flight out that night instead of the next morning as planned. When Ben woke, he was deliriously content. Maybe it was the fact that somehow he was managing to outrun his demons. That this road made a lot more sense than treatment.
Where were you all night?
How can you just forgive me? Aren't you upset?
Of course I'm upset. But at least you didn't lie about it. And you're completely messed up right now, so I'm telling myself that it's not even about us. Maybe later I'll be angry. But right now we have bigger things to deal with. Like, why won't you come home?
I just can't.
It's selfish. It's incomprehensible. You're being an asshole. Get treatment. Do you really think there's no hope?
I don't want to be a patient yet. Not if there's no point.
So you're just gonna keep running without even fighting? Of course there's a point.
What if this is fighting? What if this is the right thing to do?
I know. Everything's changed. But why? What happened? Because it couldn't have been just about the diagnosis.
Because, Samantha, I'm staring at a wall that I cannot get over. Because I don't know what the good answers are anymore.
How about being honest?
Okay. Do you want to know what the first thing that went through my mind was when the doctor told me that I had cancer? The very first thing. That I wanted to call off the wedding. I was absolutely positive that I didn't want to get married, and that I didn't want to go back to work, and that I didn't want to do anything.
That's a normal reaction. Even I wanted to call off the wedding.
But Samantha, it's not about the cancer. It's about the life that I built for myself. Why am I overinsured? Why do I care so much about being responsible all the time? Why do I give a shit about what kind of appliances we're putting into our kitchen? I'm becoming my father. And no offense to my father, I love him. He is a decent man, but that was never my life's ambition.
So what's the alternative then?
This is the alternative.
You can't just keep driving around forever. At some point, this is gonna catch up with you, especially you.
I just want time. If I can take each one of these days and turn them into a life, then that has to be a better choice.
But you don't have to be dead. You know that. You are allowed to go against the odds. You're allowed to do this for us.
This isn't about us. That's the problem, Samantha. This is about me.
Did you ever love me?
Not the way you deserved.
So why did you ask me to marry you then?
Because so much of me wanted to. And because I couldn't think of a reason why not to anymore.
I never thought that what we had was a fallback position. A safe choice. How could I not have seen it? All the indecision, all the hesitation, it was always about us, not about you. I'm an idiot.
Samantha?
Don't you dare follow me.
We stay up all night and watch the boats from underneath the bridge. The trucks fly. And in the bravest moments, I watch you, and we take turns looking away. I adore you. I want to follow you. Make a boat out of this cigarette pack. Watch it float away and hope it comes back.
Shut up!
Hey, Mom. was great, thanks.
Enjoy.
Excuse me. Can you help us make a picture?
Sure.
Dankeschön.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You are Canadian, yeah?
Yeah.
May I say that you live in one of the most beautiful countries in the world.
I know.
Their love wasn't an illusion. However, like most relationships, there were a few rogue waves that could have capsized it. In those times of rough seas, Ben's photograph was a touchstone for what was best.
Hey child, things I learned.
No one can say with any amount of certainty what Grumps actually looks like. He's hard to pin down that way. However, a good rule of thumb his father always believed: you'll definitely know him when you see him. And Ben was positively certain that the universe had coughed up a Grumps. There was only one thing to do.
You smell like the sea.
What's the divorce rate?
56%.
Those aren't very good odds.
They're better than 1 in 10.
Yeah, I suppose they are. When you're dealing with individuals, you throw out the numbers. You have to.
Does it need to be over?
I asked a man when I was on the road how you know you're in love. He told me if you have to ask, you're not. You never had to ask anyone, did you, Sam?
No. Of course not.
Are you angry?
Yeah. But not just about that. Of all the various ways this sucks, I'm obsessed with the completely selfish idea that everybody is gonna think that she's the woman who left her fiancé because he had cancer.
They're not gonna think that.
I'd think that about someone if I heard it.
I'm sorry I got us into this mess.
You should be. How are you feeling?
Ancient.
Was your trip worth it? Did you take pictures?
A lifetime's worth.
Can't come quick enough. My fault shine in the sun.
When you get those rare moments of clarity, those flashes when the universe makes sense, you try desperately to hold on to them. They are the lifeboats for the darker times, when the vastness of it all, the incomprehensible nature of life, is completely elusive. So the question becomes, or should have been all along, what would you do if you knew you only had one day, or 1 week, or 1 month to live? What lifeboat would you grab onto? What secret would you tell? What band would you see? What person would you declare your love to? What wish would you fulfill? What exotic locale would you fly to for coffee? What book would you write?
Un Canadien errant, banni de ses foyers, parcourait en pleurant des pays étrangers. Un jour, triste et pensif, assis au bord des flots, au courant fugitif, il adressa ces mots.
Si tu vois mon pays malheureux, va-t-il à mes amis que je me souviens d'eux? Au jour si plein d'appât, vous êtes disparu, et ma patrie est là, je ne la verrai plus. Non mais en expirant, oh mon cher Canada, mon regard puissant vers toi se portera. Si tu vois mon pays malheureux, va dire à mes amis que je me souviens.